Not everything you see on Twitter should be taken seriously, but you never want to take a chance with a death threat. Now a man from Waldorf is behind bars for threatening to kill all white people in La Plata. Carlos Hollins is charged with threats of mass violence for allegedly sending a tweet yesterday that said, "I'm not gonna stand for this no more. Tonight we purge, kill all the white people in the town of La Plata. Hashtag Black Lives Matter." The Twitter account from which the tweet has been sent has since been suspended. The La Plata Police Department has deployed additional officers to the streets following that threat.
A terrifying attempted murder and robbery. It was caught on a camera in a Sun City neighborhood last week.
Finally, police have arrested a suspect.
Fox 5's Drew Andre joining us live from that neighborhood and learned this man is actually accused of committing crimes across different states tonight.
Well, Jacqueline, there was a warrant out for 28-year-old Armando Dangerfield's arrest in Phoenix, where police say that he was committing similar crimes and followed a similar MO, entering through people's garage door. A brazen, violent burglary. When things don't go as planned, an unsuccessful attempt at shooting an 80-year-old Summerlin man.
Hopefully he is in custody and will be in jail for a lot of years.
This spring, 28-year-old Armando Dangerfield was let out of Maricopa County Jail on $25,000 bond. He was released on electronic monitoring, but that stopped working, and just 2 days before the violent Las Vegas attack, an arrest warrant was issued by Maricopa County. Police arrested Dangerfield and Lateon Finley together in 2020. They're accused of 5 armed robberies over the course of a week. In each case, police say the men would enter homes through an open garage door, hold victims at gunpoint, and demand valuables, including one case with an 85-year-old woman, just like police say Dangerfield did to this Summerlin man. The 80-year-old victim told Fox 5 he was in his garage when out of nowhere he was struck hard on the back of the head and knocked to the ground. He told us the man found an ice pick in the garage and said he would die if he didn't give him valuables. The suspect took a gun from the victim's safe. Eventually, the 80-year-old man made a run for it, and as the video shows, the suspect tried to cock the gun and fire multiple times unsuccessfully because it wasn't loaded. Arlene Gold told me their neighborhood association told them to make sure your garage door is closed, especially before getting out of your car.
We keep watching. We're looking at the cars that go by, cars that are parked here that are not known to us.
And the victim here told us that police came to his house last night to give him peace of mind and tell him about the rest, and said that they believe that the suspect was coming here to Vegas to avoid his troubles in Arizona. John?
Drew, thank you. And police say Dangerfield will be extradited back to Las Vegas to face charges related to the attempted robbery and murder. Court records show his trial date for his charges in Phoenix was set for October.
But our top story tonight, a Vietnam veteran verbally attacked on a Via bus for wearing his Make America Great Again hat. Tonight, he's sharing his story only on Ken's 5.
So I turned around and I says, "Bring it on, Bubba." And I was in my defensive stance with my hand on my baton.
The intense exchange got so heated, police were called. Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos with the outburst and this veteran's message.
I refuse to not wear the hat everywhere.
Kermit Moss is not backing down.
My father died in the Korean War and my mother served in World War II in the Women's Army Corps. So I will not take this hat off for anybody.
Because of his MAGA hat, the Vietnam vet says a Via bus trip to Walmart took an unexpected turn Thursday morning.
He started out right away calling Trump a racist and this and that.
He says 2 men harassed him because of his pro-Trump hat.
I was still walking to the back, and then the bigger man said something that was intimidating too much. So I turned around and I says, "Bring it on, Bubba." And I was in my defensive stance with my hand on my baton.
Moss says the bus driver then intervened.
The bus driver stuck up with me. I want to thank him. One of them wouldn't shut up, so he got off the bus. He knew that he was calling in a police report.
He says the men were more than just disrespectful, but intimidating.
I think it's going to get worse. I told the policeman that. That's why I went ahead and decided to make the police report, because it's going to get worse. And I'm very sad that the country is divided.
Henry joins us now from ᵟᵉŒᶦᶠᶦᵉᵈ bus stop in northwest San Antonio. Henry, what happened to the men?
Deborah, Moss says as soon as the men heard police were involved, one of the men got off the bus, the other just kind of backed off. Moss did talk to police. As you heard there, he says he's afraid that it's going to get worse. In fact, he says this is the third time this has happened to him. Tonight, he just wants to warn other President Trump supporters to be careful. Deborah?
Thank you, Henry.
A woman doused in gasoline and set on fire will have another surgery tomorrow. Joey Helmich is in critical but stable condition at University Hospital's burn unit in Mobile. She was working at a Circle K in Pensacola when a woman doused her with gasoline and set her on fire last Wednesday. Another employee was burned while trying to put the fire out. Helmich's family says she'll likely have more surgeries after tomorrow. Betty McFadden is charged with attempted murder. Authorities say she was panhandling and told to leave the gas station, but she came back with a gas can and matches. She is scheduled to appear in court on April 26th.
Now to an Eyewitness News exclusive. A heartbroken mother fighting to get answers after her son's brutal beating. He was left severely injured after he was attacked in Ulster County 6 months ago.
The man responsible for the beating sentenced for only a misdemeanor, and the victim's mother claims authorities are withholding information about the case.
There is video of this attack, and she wants to see it. So why can't she? 7 on your side, investigative reporter Jim Hoffer here now with some answers. Jim?
A mother reached out to us pleading for help following the near beating death of her son. She is convinced the police and the district attorney in Ulster County are protecting the criminal rather than seeking justice for her son.
Wake up for mommy.
Donna Augustine visits her son Stephen every day since he was assaulted back in May. Stephen, who has 2 young sons, was walking home from work late at night when he was attacked near this Kingston bakery.
He doesn't know us. He doesn't respond to anything.
Charles Miles, who has a history of drug convictions, pled guilty to 3rd-degree assault for the attack, a misdemeanor for which he is serving just 10 months in the Ulster County Jail.
I just can't believe this has happened and these people are allowed to do something like this and get away with it.
Stephen's mother can't accept that her son was nearly beaten to death and the attacker only got charged with a misdemeanor assault. The DA told us that's because New York criminal law requires proof of intent to cause serious physical injury in order to bring felony assault charges.
One person punched another person, and there was no way for us to determine the intent to commit a serious physical injury as a result of that conduct.
The punch, according to the DA, knocked Stephen down. The fall, he claims, is what caused his severe injuries.
The skull fracture was consistent with a fall backwards.
Stephen's mother says you need only look at Stephen to know it doesn't make sense. Medical records also show that he suffered at least 4 separate skull and facial fractures. In another record, a doctor wrote traumatic brain injury, which indicates a strike with a baseball bat. Donna thinks a key piece of evidence, a surveillance video of the attack, could answer a lot of her questions. Why is it important to you to see that video?
I want to know what happened to my son.
After numerous phone calls and letters to the district attorney, she got this letter back, claiming the records you seek are not maintained by this office and your request is denied.
Of course they have the case file with the video.
David Schwartz, who used to work as an assistant district attorney in Brooklyn, says if the Ulster prosecutor is so certain the evidence supports only a misdemeanor assault, then why not show the mother the video?
On the face of it, it looks like they're hiding something. What are they hiding?
If you wanted to show her that videotape, you could bring her in here and show her that.
That's correct.
Why haven't you? She's asked repeatedly.
What the answer is that she's been directed to the Kingston Police Department.
When pressed on not giving Miss Augustine access, the DA asked us to leave.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that's an important one.
Okay.
Why can't you let her see the videotape?
Yeah. Thank you. We're done.
Stephen's mother thinks her son's attacker is getting special treatment because just weeks after the attack, one of the investigators hinted to her that Charles Miles might have helped the police and DA as an informant.
He said that there was a person that was present at the assault that has worked with the police department for many years, and it was very, very trusted.
Is Charles Miles an informant? Was he an informant on past cases in Ulster County? Was he? Was he an informant?
You have to leave now.
Was he an informant?
I didn't talk to you anymore.
After telling Miss Augustine that they did not have the videotape, she got a call yesterday saying she can come to the district attorney's office next week to see the tape. We've also learned that even though the case is a misdemeanor, it has been sealed. Ms. Augustine says she wants an independent investigation into the handling
and a
of her son's
busted
case.
face. Police say this is the result of a hate crime. Thanks for choosing us. I'm ᵛᵉḵᵦᶠ.
And I'm ᵛᵉɁᵦ. Right now, 2 men behind bars accused of attacking 2 other men because they were gay.
ABC 15 Susan Casper explains the life lesson these victims want you to learn.
It's a random act of violence that was targeted on us.
Austin Head is HIV positive and the focus of this documentary. He's heard stories of hate crimes, but until late last week, never thought he would become a victim.
I've always felt safe in downtown Phoenix.
While walking home from a bar late Thursday night, Austin and a friend were allegedly attacked by these men, Ernie and Jermon Barnes. Austin says the two began yelling gay slurs and then began swinging. He was knocked out cold.
After being knocked unconscious, I woke up in the emergency room.
During the beating, Austin suffered cuts, an eye injury, and a broken bone in his face. Police caught up to the pair, charging them with aggravated assault. Since the suspects apparently targeted Austin and his friend because they are gay, police say the charges were elevated.
These 2 suspects targeted these victims just strictly based on their sexual orientation. Once you start to target people for those types of things, that's what makes it a biased crime.
Austin says he will recover and his pride is intact. With time, he hopes people will learn to accept others.
There's always going to be people who are intolerant of something, and the only way you can combat that is with making your voice heard and educating them.
In Phoenix, Susan Casper, ABC 15 News.
And investigators say if these attackers were cut during this ordeal, they may have contracted HIV because, as you heard in Susan's story, Austin is HIV positive.
Yeah, hard to imagine in this day and age, but we did a little digging on hate crimes to find out just how often these kinds of crimes happen. And according to the FBI, in 2010, nearly 7,000 hate crimes were committed. Of those, 47% motivated by race, 20% by religious bias, 19% motivated by sexual orientation, nearly 13% by an ethnic or national origin bias, and less than 1% against a person with a disability.
All right, new video tonight. Take a look at this. Pistol whipped and his watch stolen. You could hear it too. Scary robbery in Daly City, all caught on a neighbor's Ring camera. This happened on Skyline Drive at around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Daly City police say a 69-year-old man was robbed, struck with a gun. The thief can be heard right there demanding the man's watch before taking off down the street in a red car with tinted windows. The man was treated on the scene for his injuries, and police are asking anyone with information to contact the Daly City Police Department.
30-year-old Steve Sinclair is now charged with attempted murder and bias-motivated crime. A victim tells Aurora police Sinclair shouted "Black Lives Matter" before stabbing him. He had serious injuries, including a collapsed lung. Witnesses tell police they saw Sinclair stabbing the victim as he tried to run away. The first officer on scene says Sinclair approached him saying "Black Lives Matter," calling himself a psychopath and also saying he was the stabber. He eventually was arrested without a struggle. Katie Johnston covering Colorado First.
Watch as a 73-year-old man is violently pushed to the ground in what police are calling an unprovoked attack in broad daylight. It happened on 47th Street near 10th Avenue just before 10 Saturday morning. Jesus. The victim, a well-known, well-liked building superintendent, is now hospitalized from his injuries.
He's a great guy. He's always around to help, will answer any questions. I mean, me personally, I've lost a key before, made new keys for me, whatever, and takes good care of the building to the extent that he can. So, again, nothing but an asset to the building.
I've been knowing that man for about 15 years, you know, and that man don't mess with nobody, you know, and for somebody to do something like that to him, that disgusts me.
The incident has residents on edge following this brutal attack last Wednesday against an Asian woman by a man who turned out to be a convicted murderer out on parole. That attack was just 4 blocks away.
It's getting bad. It's not getting better, it's getting worse.
Many are fearful for their safety and growing increasingly concerned over quality of life in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood.
I try, especially when I'm with my son, I try to steer clear of it, but sometimes you just can't.
Building residents hope the perpetrator is soon behind bars.
To know that it's happening to somebody who's a good guy, who's, you know, older and is a little bit not, 100% healthy, it's just, why pick on people, especially like that?
It's an absolute shame that stuff like that happens. I hope they catch the guy. I really do.
That man still recovering in the hospital. Now, if you recognize the suspect, police are looking for your help. If you know anything, call the NYPD. That number, 1-800-577-TIPS. Live in Hell's Kitchen tonight, I'm ᵛᵉ<hesitation>, Pix 11 News.
They targeted me for being white, and they made it very clear that that was why they were assaulting me.
A teenager says he was attacked, burned, and beaten for hours in West Seattle.
Good evening. The boy was left so bloodied and bruised, he wound up in the hospital.
Now, as police look into this possible hate crime, the 15-year-old talks for the first time about the attack. Shamari Stone has tonight's KOMO 4 exclusive. Shamari?
Well, that's right. The teen is breaking his silence. This is a downright sickening story. He says a black man and an Asian man, possible Pacific Islander, asked him for a cigarette lighter. He says, okay, walks on over. All of a sudden, he says they grab him, punch him several times, slam him on the sidewalk right here, and then dragged him right over through this area, knocking him on the ground, mushing his face in the ground, then taking cigarettes and burning his neck just like this. He says they did this because he's white. The photos are so shocking, he cringes when he sees them.
It has me shaken up every time I see it, because it's just, I don't know, I just get bad vibes overall from seeing those pictures.
In an exclusive interview, 16-year-old ᵛᵉㄧᶦᶠᶦᵉ can now sit back, play video games, and share his story after being released from a hospital. He says two men viciously attacked him in West Seattle because he's white. Tell us about how your race played a role in this.
I don't know, they kept trying to bring up, when I'd ask why I'm doing it, they just because you're white, and then they started bringing up past, like, slavery, being like, white people did this.
He told police one of his attackers was black, the other Asian or Pacific Islander. The trouble started when he was walking home from a friend's house around 2 o'clock in the morning.
They're like, oh, white boy, what are you doing? You can't hang out this late. What are you doing around here? You can't, you're like, white boy has no belonging being out here at 2 a.m.
And torturing him for hours in the bushes, stripping off his belt, whipping his back, taking turns, burning his neck with cigarettes, and pointing a gun at his head in retaliation for black slavery.
This is for what your people did to our people while they were like whipping me with my belt, my studded belt.
Shane lost consciousness and his attackers were gone when he woke up. A good Samaritan helped him. Police are investigating. In the meantime, Shane hopes officers catch and charge the suspects with a hate crime.
Because they targeted me for being white, and they made it very clear that that was why they were assaulting me.
Now, Seattle police referred the case to their bias crimes unit. They're reviewing it as a possible hate crime. Meanwhile, Shane's father hopes that his son learned his lesson. You cannot be walking home late at night, even if you're leaving your friend's birthday party. Shane says that he learned his lesson and hopes that police catch the suspects. Live here in West Seattle, I'm Shamari Stone, KOMO 4 News.